This is Rob Carbone, and you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis.
Barrett, some shake and bake, gets a three. That's alive in the crowd with Barrett 5 on the 24. Barrett previously in the air ball. The drive, the land, backs him home. Gets it back, keeps it out there. Barrett for three. RJ Barrett from Dallas. Quick trigger three. Gets another triple. Looking for more. Smith at the buzzer. Now it's gone. J.R. Smith from way downtown at the buzzer. Novak, good open look. Puts it in. Just to Ewing. That'll make the guard more. For Ewing facing a double team, but still was able to hit. Knox with the finish. And the foul. Novak, good open look. Puts it in. Excellent ball move. Houston ducks under. Got it. With 8 tenths left.
What is going on, guys? This is Rob Carbone coming at you with another episode of BD4. Episode 120 of BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Hope everybody's doing well. You know, it's the same routine. Really don't have to talk about much because it's the same shit. There's nothing that's going on right now. Still trying to get the sports world back up and started. You know, we're hearing some slight movement in both the NBA and MLB. We're hearing some kind of noise. Of course, in Major League Baseball, owners and players are kind of fighting over the financial aspect of it all. And in the NBA, we've kind of been back and forth in terms of the news around the NBA, because if you haven't, if you've been following it, I think about a month ago, I want to say, it was Adrian Wojnarowski saying that, the vibes were pessimistic. And then a couple of days ago, I see a report on SportsCenter saying, owners and teams and GMs are hopeful that the season will resume. So I really don't know, when it comes to the NBA, it's tough. We'll see what happens. Definitely a very strange scenario, being that the season was nearly complete. There's about 18 games or so remaining. So, it's going to be interesting to see if they resume, to see how they resume as well. So, it's the same shit tonight for us here on BD4, episode 120. Another prospect, another, late first, second round prospect that we're going to dive into and voice crack. And, as soon as we're done with these late first, second round prospects, we're going to work our way down to the lottery players, the prospects that are going to be picked in the lotto. And that'll be more exciting, right? The more well-known names like LaMelo Ball, Cole Anthony, who, the Knicks have have been doing extensive homework on, reportedly. And then, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, and then, maybe cover some of the bigs like Obi Toppin, James Wiseman, and, a couple of other guys. So we're going to, keep doing our little thing for as long as we can, picking apart a prospect tonight or every other night. Sometimes I'll take a break here and there, but still on the late first guys. Sometimes they're mid first, and then some second round guys as well, which, Leandro Bolmaro, hope I said that correctly. Leandro Bolmaro is a prospect he's an Argentinian combo wing from who played for Barcelona, played international ball. He's about 6'7", 180 pounds, 19 years old, not 20 until September, so very young. But yeah, he played internationally for Barcelona, a few of their clubs this past season, played in the EuroLeague and in the ACB. And, in my opinion, I think those two leagues are, outside of the NBA, those are probably the two toughest leagues around. So he played in some tough leagues, and he was pretty productive. Now, the numbers I'm about to read off to you weren't, they didn't jump off the table, jump out at you or anything like that. But considering the amount of minutes played, considering he didn't start in a bunch of them, And also considering that he's more of a an eye test type of player in order to really get a true testament of his skill and talent level. So just keep that in mind, But he did average 8 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists on 42%, 28%, and 68% from the field, three, and free throw. Defensively, collected 1.3 steals per game, and he did this across 22 games this past season, 9 starts, 18 minutes per game. So keep that in mind. But he's an eye test type of player, somebody who you kind of have to see in order to get a true testament of his talent. I think he's going to go mid first, anywhere from mid first, and beyond. Possibly picked in the second round. I do not think he'll go undrafted. I definitely think somebody's going to swoop him up. Just because I think he's got a lot of intangibles that NBA GMs, especially in today's game, that he'll benefit from. NBA GMs will like. I've heard the Manu Ginobili comparisons, right? A poor man's Manu Ginobili, maybe a much better version of Pablo Prigioni. He was a decent player for the Knicks, so I think the Knicks could benefit from if they drafted somebody like Leandro Bolmaro. He's one of those guys. The ceiling may not be high. He's not going to become a star, not going to become a numbers guy, probably not. But the upside's not there. But it's the high floor that I'm really, that I like. I like his high floor. I think there's something there where no matter what, he'll end up being a good player. I think he's going to be a decent, very solid role player if he does pan out. A high-end rotation regular, right? That will probably be his ceiling. A rotation regular, high-end rotation player. A secondary pick and roll playmaker. Somebody who comes off the bench for the Knicks and kind of, gets the offense going again if they're stagnant and need a change in rhythm. So that's what we're going to dive into tonight, guys. We're going to get into it in just a second. But really quick, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Thanks for coming on. And stopping by and tuning into BD4, or if you're watching BD4 up on YouTube, thank you for doing that as well. If you haven't seen the last couple episodes, we've got a different setup. We changed things around in the studio, so rearranged a little bit, being bored during this quarantine. So, yeah. So we're going to get to it. We're going to get to this episode and talk about Leandro Bolmaro as soon as we get back from break, guys. And that's that. All right. We'll be right back. Hey fellas, really quick, I just want to remind you, in order to subscribe to BD4, to subscribe to my blog, and to follow me on social media, all you have to do is go to my website. That's it. Just go to nysportstalk.wordpress.com/connect. Once again, that is nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com/connect. Once there, guys, that will display all of my information. Where to subscribe to the podcast, how to subscribe to my blog, and where to follow me on social media. Guys, thank you so much, and let's get back to the show. It's the good instincts that I really like about him, the focus and determination. I think he's a very focused player, somebody who has a plan when he's out on that floor. Not really one of those guys who just runs freely, like a chicken with its head cut off. He knows what he's doing. He's very focused and determined as a playmaker. So that's the number one, strength in his game. I think it's his pick and roll craft. Just a great passer and a great ball handler at a pick and roll. He knows what he's doing. He's unselfish, great court awareness, good floor vision, and the passes he makes, they can impress you. They're very impressive passes that he can make. Now I don't know why this video keeps freezing on me. I'm gonna try to fix it. Yeah, I don't know why, man. If you're watching the podcast, you'll know what I'm talking about, obviously. But if you're listening, you probably have no clue. I'm gonna try to figure out why this is not working because it's been doing this the last couple of episodes where the video has just been freezing. The feed has not been working correctly. Um, I'm gonna try to fix it. Hold on, just bear with me for 1 sec. All right, we got it. We're good. I think we're good. All right, so yeah, as I was saying, he's somebody who's very effective in pick and roll. That's his, he's very capable at operating an effective pick and roll. Just a great passer, and some of the passes this guy makes, they're very impressive. He makes a lot of flashy passes, right? He will hit the tight windows. He will make those quick zip passes across court. He will make those passes off of ball screens effectively. Good downhill, full speed passer. He's very, very good with the ball in his hands. Great vision. Somebody who could rack up the assists, just like that. So that's the number one thing I noticed about him. Bolmaro is just very good in pick and roll, very crafty, very smooth, changes speeds effectively, knows how to change directions. Shifty, just a great off the bounce player. As a scorer too, and as a playmaker and a scorer, he has some good scoring ability. Especially in transition. I like how he plays in transition. I think he's got a good control and a good pace to himself. Can run the floor in transition without the ball, but can also go coast to coast off a defensive rebound and be the floor general that way. A great slasher in the half court. He's got some sneaky explosiveness. Not always going to blow by you a ton, but occasionally he'll shock you with something, something in his bag. And you watch him, he gets to the rim pretty easily. It looks like he doesn't have to work too hard to get to the rim due to that craftiness. A good first step. He just knows how to get to the rim just by being unique and creative. And he finishes well. He doesn't just get to the rim, but he's an effective finisher. Pretty fearless when he gets to the rim. He finishes relentlessly and can finish with either hand, which is a big positive in my opinion. And then the last positive about his offensive game, at least, is the jumper doesn't look great. It doesn't give you the great results yet, but it does look good. I think the release looks nice. It's pretty quick. It just looks pretty fundamental. So there's reason to believe that he has an upside to at least be an adequate shooter from downtown and a nice pull-up mid-range game occasionally. He'll flash that as well. So those are the positives of his offensive game, mainly a playmaking combo wing who can slash effectively and when he's hot he'll hit the jumper. Now defensively he's very good. I like to think he's very good. He's got a high motor, so that's the first thing you love about this kid defensively is that he's very willing. He's got that effort level that he wants to compete defensively and wants to make you struggle. He's a fantastic side to side lateral mover. He's very quick laterally. He pressures the ball. He's very pest-like, and that kind of goes back to what I said when I was comparing him to Pablo Prigioni, when the Knicks had him. He was always pressuring the ball and kind of, forcing the ball handler to go in a direction that they don't want to. So he's very good there, and he uses his length pretty well to deflect passes. We mentioned he's 6'7", so he likes to disrupt the passing lanes, and he can alter shots, both at the rim and on the perimeter, just because of his length. So he's pretty versatile in that aspect. To where I think eventually he'll be able to guard the 1 to 4 positions if he can pan out. He's got good switch potential, which is good for the NBA, right? And we know the Knicks like to switch a lot, and again, all depending on who they hire as their coach, but there's a good chance that their scheme defensively is going to remain switch heavy, and I think that's going to be good if they draft somebody like Bolmaro sometime mid to late first, because he's got that ability to switch pretty effectively. Doesn't struggle on ball screens or anything like that. Nothing noticeable. Now those are the positives, right? Those are the pros about his game. Now he does have some weaknesses, and we mentioned the shooting. The shooting does need work. I like that he's confident. He's going to take a lot of threes, a lot of jumpers in some games. He'll rack up the 8, 7 3-point attempts, but he's far from consistent. He is not converted nearly enough yet. In particular, it's that catch and shoot game he really needs work at. He's not great as a spot up shooter. When he does get hot from three, it's the pull up jumper that he likes to use. So he's going to need some work in terms of shooting the basketball, and that's obviously big. That's probably going to be the big determining factor here, right? That's going to be the deciding factor of his career in the NBA. Can he shoot well enough to be a regular? And if he doesn't have that shooting ability, he's going to have a hard time scoring. But that's going to be the big, the big if here. He's a little bit turnover prone. Over 3 turnovers per 36 minutes. And when you compare that, to his low assist rate, you want that to go up. Sometimes he's a little bit too flashy, right? He tries to gamble a little bit too much as a playmaker at times and forces a pass when he should probably just keep it in his hands. So that you want to see increase. You want to see that efficiency improve. And that's probably his that's something I think that can improve. I don't hold too much weight to his turnover issues. Especially since I think he's going to be a great playmaker in the NBA just because of his instincts and feel. I think that'll come with experience and in work. Defensively, sometimes again he's a good defender, but the quicker guards are going to give him some issues, and occasionally he'll also get caught ball watching, and obviously he'll lose track of his man. Sometimes that comes when he tries to help too much. He'll help sometimes when it isn't necessarily needed. It's not the most necessary times when he tries to help, and he'll get caught ball watching due to that and kind of lose the lose track of his man. But in the last couple things here, he's not the strongest yet. Again, he's 6'7", but he weighs what, $180. So the strength is an issue right now. That's going to have to improve in order for Leandro Bolmaro to become an effective regular in the NBA. But I think, again, that's kind of why he's not going to be a star, but I still think he could be an effective role player if he can just gain a little bit more muscle. And then last but not least, we talked about this, don't really need to touch on this a little bit more at all, but the mediocre numbers, small track record, nothing stand out. But again, the Knicks should still take a flyer on this kid if he lands in their pocket at 27. I mean, I wouldn't mind taking him. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't love it, but I wouldn't hate it. Just a good player who could come off the bench and give the Knicks some rhythm. And I think that would help as a pick and roll playmaker, a secondary playmaker. Come off the bench and propel that offense. I think he could be that pilot. Excuse me. He could be that captain that runs the ship, and I think it's there. I think that's the ability is there to be. They need playmaking, the Knicks, and if they're not going to get it with their lotto pick, I wouldn't mind getting somebody like Bolmaro as a backup plan later in the first. Now, I wouldn't trade up for him. I wouldn't go as far as to say where if he did land 15 to 20 or something like that, I wouldn't trade up for him. I don't think I would go that far. But yeah, if he landed 27, I would take him. I wouldn't mind. Again, all depending on who else is out there. There are some other guys that I would take at 27. But you're the Knicks. You need playmaking. You need defense doesn't hurt. We do have some defenders in that backcourt, but it doesn't hurt to get more. And just a solid secondary playmaker who can come off the bench and give you some pop. So that's that, guys. I hope everybody's enjoyed this episode. A little on the shorter side tonight, but it's kind of hard to dive into a prospect who doesn't play on TV here, right? He's an international prospect, so I didn't get to see a ton of him when I watched college ball, when the season was on a couple months ago, so I didn't get to see any of him. Bolmaro was a guy I had to just strictly look on the internet for and read up on scouting reports and watch film. Whereas with most players, players that go to college in the U.S., they're easier to, they're more convenient for me to actually do some research on, because I actually, I'll watch college games on TV from time to time and I'll actually see them live. But international prospects may be a little harder for me to dissect. So I apologize if some of this is inaccurate, but again, I'm pretty sure I got the most of this. I don't think I missed anything too important here. I think I said, the main point here on Bolmaro. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. This is this is it for tonight. We still got some, a little more to go in terms of this late first, second round prospect scouting, and then we'll work our way down to the lotto. So, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. Once again, Rob Carbone with episode 120 of BD4. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.